Hello and welcome to another how to make video with me, Anthony James, Creaturama. As you can see around me, I have some of my model dinosaurs, which are all made out of junk materials, and today we're going to have a go at building our own junk dinosaur. The first thing you'll need are some materials. We need some scissors. Now, these are great scissors. They're safety scissors. They're small. They can cut round corners really well, and they're not going to hurt you. So try and find some nice, easy to use safety scissors. And then we're going to use my favourite material, masking tape. It's brilliant. You can make anything out of masking tape. So we need some good, sticky, wide masking tape for you to make an incredible creature out of junk materials. So off we go. We are going to make Velociraptor. Yes, the star of Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World movie franchise, but not like those Velociraptors, because they weren't like that. They were really like this. There is my Velociraptor, and they were very small, very fast predators. In fact, their name means speedy thief or speedy predator. About 70 to 71 million years ago, these lived on planet Earth, and one of their main food sources was Protoceratops, which is one of the makes we've done in this range of makes. So you can have a go at making both the prey and the predator. So we are going to make this wonderful Velociraptor. But actually, I need another Velociraptor to help me, so let's welcome Reg.
Hello.
So the first stage in our making of a Velociraptor is to get the body made. And yes, we're making a Velociraptor, Reg. That's you. We're making you today. There's our body. Way getting away. There's our bottle there. We're going to cover that in some skin. This is just a normal fizzy drinks bottle. But as you can see, it's see-through, so we do need some skin on it. So all I need for that, well, I'm just going to get a random piece of paper, newspaper, which I've got in my bag down here. There's a bit of old newspaper there. And I'm going to scrumple it up first, like that, to make it into skin. Then we're going to stick this, not to the bottle, but to a table. Now, you need the right kind of table for this. So, there we go there. A table that isn't varnished, as sort of a formica top or a worktop within a kitchen or something like that. Do this on that so that you're not pulling varnish off a perfectly good table. Put your tape all the way round your piece of paper, and of course getting tape off the roll is very easy. Put your thumb in the corner, press your thumbnail on and pull, and the tape will come off. So all the way round, because effectively we're making a big sticky patch which we're going to put onto our bottle to make a body. I'm going to pull that off in one go. There's my big sticky patch. Turn it round, leave it upside down, and then you can just roll your bottle on as easy as that. And there is our bottle covered, and that is going to be the main part of our dinosaur. Now we need a long tail. Velociraptor, like a lot of theropod type dinosaurs, had a very long tail. So we're going to make that out of a cereal box, and all you need for this is to cut out a big triangle. So I'm going to cut as big a triangle as I can get out of this box. This is a bit of scrap, this particular cereal box, so it's been cut up already for other makes, but there's enough cardboard here to do a lovely tail shape, which is basically a big triangle like this. So what we do now is we make that a bit like a paper aeroplane. We fold it over on our table, fold it flat, get your masking tape, go all the way down one side. Hang on a minute, there we go. We'll just get our tape off there. I know, tape can sometimes be a bit naughty. There we go. I've got a nice big bit there, half on, half off. Put it on one side of your tail and just fold that over. If you need to trim your tail before you do this, trim it so it all fits together nicely. And there you see is a 3D tail shape, which we're going to stick onto the bottom of our bottle. So amazingly, and usually when you do this, they tend to fit if it's a cereal box and it's a normal fizzy drinks bottle. So I'm just going to put some tape around there to hold it on, and actually there we go. You've made the body and the tail already. As easy as that. Now legs, the next bit. What I need for the legs on this is either 4 toilet rolls or 2 kitchen rolls. I've got 2 kitchen rolls. I'm going to squidge those, and I'm going to cut a knee out the middle. And when I say a knee, it basically means I'm cutting a triangle out like that. Keep that bit, we'll need that later. And then you can bend your leg so it's got a knee. Dinosaurs like us had knees, so we need to get that into our model. Stick that together with a bit of tape. There we are, that's stuck together ready. I'm going to do that again. Squish your kitchen roll, cut out a triangle, keep that bit, we're going to need it later, and then I'm going to just put a bit of tape over that hole, which is going to make a second knee. Now, this is the complicated bit, and it's the only complicated bit. Cut the corner off that leg, just like that, and then make sure you cut the opposing corner off this leg. Don't cut the same corner off both legs, because you need them to do that, because they're going either side of your body. So I'm going to now stick that bit of tape, big bit of tape, and I'm going to stick one of those on one side of the body. Reg, what are you doing? I knew you'd be feisty during this, mate, because we're making you. Now, you've cut those corners off. We're going to use those to stabilise the legs. So you're just going to put a bit of tape round the bit you cut off. And that will, as you can see, stabilise that leg. Now, there's no beating about the bush with this. You put a lot of tape on. You want these legs to stay there. So don't worry about putting a fair bit of tape on. Just make sure you press it down. I'm now going to stick the other leg on the other side. And again, it's the same process. We're going to put the leg facing the same way, facing roughly the same part as well. And then we're going to use that little triangle that we cut off to stabilise those legs. So I'm going to put that in between there, look. And you can see it fits. Now, it might have to go slightly to one side of the other one if that one's in the way, but that will stabilise the legs brilliantly on your model, and your creature will stand up just like the originals did. So there we are, lots of tape. I'm putting a bit more tape on as well, just to make sure, because I don't want it falling over. And we can put a bit of tape across the middle now, because both of those triangles are in place, and you can see there, look, immediately he'll stand up, and that's what you want. Now, normally wouldn't do this bit next, but it makes sense. What you need is you need a toilet roll, cut from one corner to the other corner, and it is right from the corners, and you're going to make two little triangle shapes, and we're going to put a bit of tape on the end of those, just there, and just there, and we're going to go snip, 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 just cut the tape a little bit, and they're going to make the claws down here. Not the sickle shape, we're going to do that later, because as you may know, Velociraptors had a sickle shaped claw on their claws as well. We think that was for sort of, you know, obviously doing damage to prey and restraining them, holding them while they did awful things to them to eat them. And that's you, Reg. So there's my other one. I'm going to put a bit of tape around there, and again I'm going to do some snips. So snip, snap, snip. The snips just make it easier for you to bend the tape back out of the way to put that onto the leg like that, and there's your claws put on in one go. We're going to come back and do the sickle shape later on. So there's our claws. Now we need some arms. Our arms are quite small, so we're looking at a toilet roll again. This time, squidge your toilet roll and cut from about 1 centimetre in to 1 centimetre in the other side. Stick those together, and then you can cut an elbow out the same way as we cut a knee out, which is just here. So I'm going to go snip, snap, like that, and then we're going to bend it. I'm going to stick it together. I'm going to put some tape round. I'm going to put some petals out, and I'm going to stick the two arms on. So come back after I've done that. So there we have our two arms attached, just again with petals of masking tape. And now I'm going to cut out of this piece of cardboard a diamond shape, and this is thicker brown cardboard, so just a diamond shape like that. It doesn't have to be very good. There we go. And then you can just go snip, snap, and snip, snap, and you will make a little claw. Simple as that. And we're going to stick those just on the end of those arms. Again, this is just a big bit of tape just put them on the ends like that. We're going to do more with these claws in a bit, so don't worry unduly about this. There's one claw, and then there's another claw I've had already made. So I'm going to fold that over and stick that on. And we have our claws. There they are. Okay, so we've now got the majority of the shape of our dinosaur. What we need now is a neck. So a neck, wonderfully, is my favourite, a toilet roll. All you've got to do with this is put some tape around the base of the toilet roll, like that, half on and half off, and just go snip, snap with your scissors, making petals out of the tape. Bend those petals back so they're not in the way, and then you can put that over the top of the bottle. And it's up to you now as to whether it's looking that way or up in the air. I'm going to sort of hedge my bets and just have it straight up like that. There we go. And again, like I've done on previous makes like this, once you do put a neck on, put a big bit of tape over the shoulder bit there to hold that so it won't bend. And there we go. We've done the neck. The next thing, and again, this is very simple. We're going to make the head. We're going to do the same thing. Another toilet roll. Cut from about 1 centimetre in to 1 centimetre in the other side. So you make 2 of those. And then snip the end off. So you're sort of making a little nose shape. Use a tiny bit of tape. A tiddle, I call this. And join the jaws together. Because effectively you're making a top and bottom jaw. So there's that one. There's that one. Join them together, and now it's teeth. Teeth are very simple on this. It is basically snip, snap. That's all we've got to do. I'm going to get the toilet roll and go snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, all the way across the toilet roll, just snipping from one side to the other side. You can move the toilet roll. Don't move your hand, move the toilet roll. I'm going to do it again here. Snip, snap, snip, snap. Reg normally falls asleep at this bit. He's gone. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. And of course, the more you do, the more teeth you have. And you want a lot of teeth, Reg. So, there we go. You've got a lot of teeth. Look at that. Yeah. So, right, there's the bottom jaw. Okay, I'm going to stick it on. It's very simple. Again, tape just round the bottom of what will be your bottom jaw. Put your bottom jaw on first. Snip, snap, snip, snap. And just put that one there and press the tape down. Look at that. Simple as that. It's not hard. There you go. There one. And then another one for the top jaw. And we're going to stick this on like that and like that. I don't know what Reggie's doing. There we go. And I'm going to put that top jaw there. Try and make sure they're the same, otherwise you will make Scooby-Doo. You'll have that ooh with the mouth. So try and make sure they're in line, like that one there, look. And that is our Velociraptor, most of the main shape done. Okay, now, a big job this. So I'm going to lie our Velociraptor down just so you can see. Reg and Vinny here, you can see here, this is one of the models that was built for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and he's in the film, are red. So I'm going to put some red feathers on. Now, we know that Velociraptors had lots of feathers. We just know that now. We didn't originally, and the ones in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, of course, aren't really Velociraptors. They're a dinosaur called Deinonychus. It's just Velociraptor sounded better, so they ended up being called Velociraptor in the movies. I'm cutting lots of strips out of a long strip of red paper, and all I'm going to do with this, I'm going to keep going, and this is going to be my feathers. I've cut a long strip because if I fold it over a few times, I make a lot quite quickly. Now, if you can't cut through, if you've got little hands and maybe you can't cut through the paper or the card, then get an adult, or if you haven't got an adult, just do it in a strip. So start here and go all the way along. If you've got stronger hands, you can do the whole lot in one go like I have. And I'm going to stick that to the table like that. Big bit, wallop. And then I'm simply going to stick that to the back of my dinosaur. Now, I'm going to just go up to the top there Now the trick with this is not to care too much about what it looks like when you start, because I've obviously got to put some tape down this side as well as that side. So I'm going to put a big bit of tape on this side as well, press it onto the paper, and that will secure it and fasten it in a way that it will stand up nice and straight. So as you can see now, look, it's standing up nice and straight. Now I tend to give it a bit of a scrumple like that just to make it look more real, and we've got our feathers on. So I'm going to do a little bit more on the back of the head, and I'm going to do 2 bits here and here for what effectively look like wings. And we know that raptors had this. They had lots of feathers sticking out their elbows and the back of their arms here, and they look a bit like wings. So just cut yourself off a little bit of paper like that and do strips on that. I'm going to do that. You can come back after I've done it all. So there are the feathers on our Velociraptor, just like Reg here with his feathers. We've got some feathers on here. Put some on top of the head and put them on the arms there, as we talked about earlier. So really just there's 2 things to do now. One, remember those little bits we cut off earlier? We're going to make the brow ridges on the eyes with these. So I'm just going to get a little bit of tape on the end of one of those like that, and I'm just going to cut some snips out. Now actually the bit of tape I'm using is too big, so I'm going to cut that down a bit, and then I'm going to bend my tape out the way, and I'm going to put an eye just there, and you can see how easy they just fit on, just like that. I might need a little bit more tape just on the bottom of that one there, just to hold it on nice, and it just makes a shape where you're going to put the eye. I've already made that one ready to put on this side. So there's my brow ridges on. Okay, I'll stick those on a bit better later, but there you go, you can see the eyes there. And then the last thing is our little sickle shape. So I'm going to cut a little sickle shape out of a piece of brown cardboard. Just going to, it's basically a hook. So there's my little hook shape, just like that. And I'm going to stick that on one side of the foot. Now these go on the inner part of the feet, so the bits in towards the body, and I'm just going to stick that on the side of the claw there. So I don't know whether you can see that. We might do a close-up of this so you can see it. There we go. So there's one there, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, on the inside of the claw. And you have made your Velociraptor. It's all there. It's all made. So paint it. Paint it any colour you like, actually. Although we do know that some Velociraptors were brown with black stripes, and that was sort of discovered in the late noughties, the 2009, I think it was, they discovered that, or 8. Mine is red, and I liked him red with black stripes, so I painted my sickle-shaped claws black. I painted some stripes on the back after I painted it red, let it dry, and then put your stripes on. I put a black bit inside the eyes, and that means I've been able to stick a googly eye in. I've also painted the teeth white, just so that looks like that. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you have a go yourself, because you can see it's really easy. Make your own Velociraptor. Make a pack of them. They hunted in packs, didn't you, Reg? Yeah. You used to hunt in packs, so make a pack of them. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, because that means I can make more, and we can make more dinosaurs and creatures from prehistory together out of junk and things you throw away. So I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much, Red, for your help. And that is how you make a Velociraptor. Enjoy.
Do, 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 do. Do 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 do